Hey, it is Katia Moon coming to you live and in color from the Moon Space where we game, we chat, we discuss indie authors and their books, as well as give budding newbies tips on how to be the best they possibly can be. So, grab a snack, get comfortable, settle in for the vibes, because we are going to get in today about baby names, or rather, character names. So, now I came across this article. I've seen something similar like this before. Uh, the issue is I've never really read them. And the only reason why I came across it was because I am working on my sci fantasy. My goal is to be finished with it by September. However, I know what I want and how my story should go. The thing is, I am what they call a pantser. I'm not a planner. The characters take over and they do what they want to do. Now, I made mention about one of my elves. They are not a pure elf, they're a mutated dark elf. So, essentially, they're albino elf. They look like a pale elf, but the difference is like their ears changes colors just like my dark elves. And now he is important to my novel. So he needed a name. And this is a science fiction fantasy book with thriller elements to it. And I'm just like, well, he needs something that's not the normal name. Literally, Jaliful, his name came about because I wanted something like naturistic. That's not a word. But I also like the name Jalil. And if you know anything about a Jalil, that is our Steve Urkel. If you've never seen Family Matters, they have it on Hulu and wherever else you can watch it, streaming services. So that's how Jaliful got his name. Now, I go on to this baby name website and like I seen the article, and just to let you know, I did come up with a name for my doctor. His name is kind of similar to Star Wars. No, wrong one. Not Star Wars. Star Trek, but also like Piccolo, but not really. I am a nerd, but his name is Takaride. Takaride? Something close enough to that. So, that's how I came up with his name and finally saw this article. And I'm actually going to read this article to you. And yes, I am back to playing Disney Dreamlight. I'm hoping after the last time I played it, they've kind of fixed the Elsa issue. I don't know if they did or not, but we'll see. Alright, so now this is written by Jennifer Moss, and it does have some good tips on it and how you can come up with a name. I've never really followed this kind of tips. I just let the names come to me or I try to figure them out, which is how Pakari and Takara came about. Pakari, more or less, I wanted something that kind of hinted at darkness, and her name definitely hints at that. Alright, so we'll start this off with my laptop freezing. Yay! Okay. So it says if you are a writer, one of the first and most exciting things you do is name your cast of characters. You think it would be easy as naming your imaginary friends, your dolls, pets, or even your children, but it's not the same at all. Now, a lot of people don't go this route when trying to name characters or name children. They just do what they feel. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I could have sworn I got rid of some of the stuff. Alright, let's go back into the house. Okay, here we go. No, I can just do that. So, one major mistakes writers make is thinking that they, the author, name their characters. They do not. So, if you don't choose the character's name, then who does? Well, go inside your fictional world and ask the question again. The answer: your character's parents choose the character's name. So you must give some thought into the character's backstory. And it's still acting up. Now, now that's not something like a lot of us generally think about, because majority of us, we do feel that we are God. And where are you? That's really bad. When actuality, we are God. However, we're not like omnipotent. We are, if you're like me, like a pantser, you're essentially writing an incident report. But then there are the others who write, and they plan things out. So they are more or less like the all-knowing, omnipotent God that we know and think of. So, come on. Alright, so you must give some thought into the character's backstory and their parents' backstory before choosing a character name. Now that you're in the right mind frame, here are some other tips to consider before naming your fictional character. Okay. Yeah, my thing is kind of running slow, so gotta love that. I'm definitely gonna get a new laptop ASAP. No, 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 no. And you are still taking your time. Very annoying. Alright. Don't know what this is. Oh, I didn't even read it. That's why. Alright. The summer sizzle event begins. Hey, Valley Villager. It's time to celebrate Summer Sizzle and Dreamlight Valley. This year, you can complete daily quests with Remy, Goofy, or Ursula for summer fun and great prizes, just like last year. I wasn't here last year. You'll also be able to search the valley for specialty marshmallows. Then use those marshmallows to make tasty treats for exclusive rewards. See you in the valley. Cool. Let's see what we got. Okay, just freaking out. Okay. Let's use that. It is roasted marshmallows. Okay. And then what's this one? S'mores. Oh my god, you know what? I kinda want a s'more right about now. Okay. And it is not loading. Alright. So, the first tip is make the name age appropriate. So, essentially, what you're doing is decide the age of your character, deduct the age from the year your story takes place. For example, if your story takes place in 1960 and your character is 25, she was then born in 1935. If your character lives in the United States, use the U.S. Social Security site to see the most popular names for that year. Now, like I said, I don't go by these tips. I just do what I feel. And you don't have to follow these tips either. You too can also just do as you please. These are just suggestions. If you are like me and like to research things, then having this knowledge will help you. And I'm just waiting for my laptop to. Let's see.
Hello, my friend.
Alright, let's see if we get past the little thing where it says.
Oh.
Yes! I think they fixed it! Oh my god, yes, they fixed it! Alright, here we go. Finally! It didn't work. I'm sorry, I was excited and you got upset because I squealed. Do you think it would make a difference if your pickaxe was stronger? Good idea. Guess I'm going to have to work some magic. I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. Unless we can find some dynamite. Girl, no. Wait, was that? Yeah, it was dynamite. Alright, I'm so excited. Like, you have no idea. I'm so excited. What, meow meow? It's not time. Will you stop acting like you being starved? You're not. You just want to eat all the time, and that's not the case. Where are my dogs? What does she do with our dogs? Text my little one. You'll be fine. You just have a little longer to wait till you eat, okay? Don't be a little baby. I'm glad that you're happy to help. Great, there it is. Now, this ice is very thick. If we were trying to melt it, it would take something as hot as the sun to do so. I've spent a lot of time around Merlin. I'm starting to understand how things work around here. You have to embrace the dream and dream like magic. How would this work in a dream? I'm thinking. A flaming pickaxe would be amazing. You know what? Yeah. It totally would. But I guess I'll have to go with symbolic flames like some sunflowers and lemons. That's why I was supposed to keep my damn sunflowers out. We can get the warmth of the sun from Dazzle Beach with a vial of ocean water, some sugar cane to stick it all together, and maybe some garlic for a little extra spice. It sounds like you know what you're doing, even if it does seem a little strange. I'll be here when you found everything. Then we can put the potion on your pickaxe together. Oh my gosh, finally. And that's what I was supposed to have my sunflowers out for. I forgot. So I literally have everything. I just need to go back home and grab my sunflowers out. Where am I going? I'm going the right way. I am going the wrong way? I don't know where I'm going. Here's the path. This is taking much longer because of my laptop being so dumb. Let's do this. Pull it up. Blogs. No, we're not doing a .com. What? Slash blogs. Name info. Because you're taking too damn long for me. And it would help if I knew how to spell right now. I definitely do know how to spell, but when you type it on your phone, it does not help you at all. 'Cause essentially, your thumbs are fat. Alright, let's try that. See if it pulls up. Perfect. Alright, okay. So, as I said, if you're... I don't need your funky ads. If your character lives in the United States, use the U.S. Social Security site to see the most popular name for that year. We're not suggesting that you have to use a popular name for that time period, but definitely don't use a contemporary name that would not have been given to children at that time. This is... okay, I went the right way. This is probably the biggest mistake television writers make. They'll give adult character names that are currently popular for babies to make the name easy to pronounce. Now, readers pronounce names in their heads as they are reading. If they stumble on a word or name, it will take them out of your story. If you are writing a screenplay, you don't want a name that is difficult to pronounce. Also, if you're writing a screenplay or a teleplay, TV, think about the actors and if it will be difficult to say the name. I think this might be Lion King. Yeah. I'm just gonna grab that real quick. 3. Consider your character's background. A family's ethnicity, history, and geographic location are tantamount in baby naming. Even if it's a minor character in your story, take the time to figure out his backstory, his ethnicity, his parents' background, the parents' personalities, and a name. Okay. And a name that fits. Also consider location of birth and generation. A 5th generation Italian child may not be named Lorenzo if he's born in Ohio in 1990. He might just be named Jason. If he is named Lorenzo, include the backstory of the name as character development. Now, this is probably the reason why I don't pay attention to these tips, because the simple fact is, like, you're essentially... No. You are essentially trying to control what a person may or may not do. Granted, this is your world, and that's perfectly fine. The thing is, though, like when you're writing something, you don't necessarily have to control every aspect of it, because eventually these characters, they take on a mind of their own. Alright, and I fail at these tips anyways. Number 4, don't use similar names for 2 characters. Using 2 similar names will be confusing to the reader consumer of your story. Kirk and Kent, for example, might trip people up. Even when naming twins, be careful that they are unique enough to differentiate to the viewer reader. Just watch House of the Dragon and you'll understand how confusing it can be. Now, I've never watched House of the Dragon, but I do have 2 sets of twins. I have one that is Darnell, the other one is Drace. And then, stop it, meow meow. And then in my first one, my very first book, I have, stop, Takayasu and Takamasa. Now they, why did I do that? They go, stop, Panther. You don't step on my laptop. They go by nicknames. So I feel like that kind of helped differentiate those. goes, because one goes by Yashu, the other one goes by eh, the other one goes by are you about to leave, girl? I gotta bring it to her anyways. The other one goes by Masa. So that kind of works out for that set of twin, and I probably will end up making another one. Alright. Number 5, but give your siblings the same style of names. Very rarely will parents change their naming styles when naming children. If one child has a traditional name, it would be rare that another would have a created or wild name. If you want a sibling to have a different type of name, make it a nickname with a secret traditional name. For example, a woman named Skylar probably wouldn't have a sister named Marie. Breaking Bad. If I had to correct that, I'd name them Skylar and Reese. So I have a little bit of a different take on that. I used to work with this guy named Benjamin and his mom. She was really cool. And she confirmed this. Benjamin is the oldest. Her youngest son is named Blaze. So Benjamin is a traditional name, Blaze is not. But they both start with a B. And there was times where he was not happy about, being named Benjamin. He even remarked about how he should have been named that, or he should have got a cool name. So something similar to that. So this is another reason why I don't take these tips into consideration. But it is always good to have this information. 6, consider your genre. Romance novel characters have historically been given more flowery, romantic names. Sci-fi characters most often have created names. And there's going to be C tip number 8, which is the last one. Consider your genre before naming your characters. Hopefully you have read many works with your genre. All good writers do. Follow suit, as is the case in the Hunger Games series. The author Suzanne Collins chose nature names, Katniss and Primrose, for her protagonist and her sister, but created names for other characters like Pollux and Haymitch. And some characters like Gale, Octavia, and Caesar receive names that we recognize as names. This juxtaposition of created names and recognizable names, don't make fun of me for not being able to say that name. I mean that word. And recognizable names help further the concept that their world was historically our world. 7. Avoid famous name association. There are certain names in our culture that are easily identifiable with famous or infamous personalities. Adolf, Roseanne, Beyonce, Madonna, to name a few. Unless it is part of your character's story or a background, avoid using easily associative names. This also applies to fictional names as well, like Atticus, Scarlet, or Katniss. Now, I don't think there is another Beyonce out there. I don't even know if someone has actually put Beyonce in a book as a character. I understand what they're saying. However, rules are made to be broken to an extent. So, alright, and this is the last tip. Sci-fi names don't have to sound alien. It's difficult to predict what names will be popular in the year 3000. However, you don't have to make your science fiction characters sound like they are from Mars, unless they are. As stated in tip number 2, the name should still be easy to pronounce in the reader's head. The name, I'm going to spell it out first. Zyxnrid. Zynrid? Probably not. For example, will be difficult to read or listen to every time the character is referenced. Exactly. And may detract from your overall story. If you do choose to create your sci-fi name, you may want to combine 2 common names to make a less common but pronounceable name. Example, Donica, Donna, and Veronica. Use ancient mythological names or combine 2 of them. Examples, Ceres or Evanine. Make it easy to pronounce and spell. Example, Bilbo Baggins from Lord of the Rings or Yoda from the Star Wars franchise. Oh, I lied. There was one more tip. 9. Avoid overusing characters' name in dialogue. It's a soap opera thing that has spilled over into serial television. If you had characters that have an especially close relationship, they would not keep saying each other's names. This is often a trick of screenwriters to identify their characters, especially for new viewers who are just tuning in. However, good writers can establish the relationship in less obvious ways. In real life, couples will use nicknames and in terms of endearment honey, dear, boo. What nicknames have your characters created for each other? Parents rarely call their children by their full names unless the kid is in trouble. If that ain't the truth. If you have loving parent characters that are addressing their kids, use a nickname or a term of endearment, sweetie, baby, DJ. An exception to this would be if you want to show the parent character being cold and distant to their child. That being said, outdated terms like sis and cuz rarely crop up in natural, normal conversation, but they are all over television, especially pilots. Instead of having your characters constantly call her sis, have him ask if she's heard from mom today, or ask another character, don't I have the best sister ever? So, when it comes to that, now this person of the blog is a white person. That does definitely come into play because when you are a black or African author, or an author who is non-white, we do things differently. We don't have to say sis in reference to a sister. We are saying it in reference to a friend. And sometimes our friends we do say is more like our family. Now, when it comes to cuz, like, I literally call my cousin that. She's actually my second cousin. Kind of a long story, but she's actually my second cousin, and I still call her cuz. Like, she even calls me cuz, or we call each other cuzzo. So, this is why I say take these tips with a grain of salt. Like, it's definitely good if you're in the science fiction and fantasy realm. However, again, you do not have to take these tips. I lied. There was 10. This is definitely the last one for sure. 10. Have fun choosing characters' names. Take time to see what fits. What was your character's childhood nickname? Is that an embarrassment when his parents address him in front of his friends? Do your character change his name at any point in his her life? If so, why? Does your female character want to change her surname when she gets married? Why or why not? Names are such an important part of one's identity. Don't take it lightly. A name can provide a great insight and backstory to a character if you do it right. There's always an exception. There's always an exception to the rules above. If the character's name is part of the plot or their backstory in that case, it's really fun to use names in this way, as long as you explain it in exposition. Back to the House of Dragon. It's a shared character name that drives the entire plot. A great exposition in Better Call Saul is how Jimmy McGill becomes Saul Goodman. Names are such an inherent part of everyone's lives that your reader's audience can always relate to a good name story. So, which is why I constantly keep saying, like, take this as with a grain of salt. You know how your character is supposed to be. If you're writing a character who is strong and intelligent, kind, caring, loving, or on the flip side, mean, angry, very cold, you know what your character would like. When it comes to my sci fantasy, Akasha to me is very strong. She is driven by revenge. She's powerful. And what comes to mind when I think about her, well, when I was actually planning to come up with her name, was literally Akasha from Interview with the Vampire. Now, the names are spelled slightly different, but based off of that, I liked how that Akasha was portrayed. And to me, that name suited my character. Granted, she's not a vampire, she's very much different. Still applies. Alright, we are done with the author tips, and
Mika would love to play with
we can go on and just now have fun. I will reference this. I need to get out of this. Let me stop. I'll reference this again and probably like the next author tip or rather like the next author dialogue, what have you, is going to be talking about AI and generative AI. Because unfortunately, so many people are on a witch hunt, and we as indie authors have to figure out ways to prove ourselves that we aren't using AI in that manner. So, all right, let's get to Elsa. May I see? Goodness, I can feel the heat through the bottle. Now you just need to apply it to the pickaxe. Let me just try not to burn myself. Yay! Yeah, I'm so happy. There we go. The pickaxe has heat rating off it. I think it worked. Let's try to remove some of the ice blocking the entrance, then we can explore the ice cavern. Let me switch over, because now you're... Yay! I'm so happy. Bye, girl. Girl, you have no idea how I wanted to do this so badly. I'm about to whack all this shit. I don't want to walk on. Let's see. It actually... Oh, we get more snowballs? Can I not get the big ones? Let's see. I think we can probably start making snowballs and stuff now. I want to get the big ones though. Yay, I'm a happy girl. And so first off, hey Hot Boy and hey Artemis. Shit. God damn it. Hurry up. I'm about to lose this. Oh, so stop following me. I missed something. Fuck, I did. Okay, well we can go in the cave. Mothman, I am as well as I can be. You know, life just lifing. Back from vacation, going back to work, navigating personal things. So it is what it is. Alright, let's go inside this cave. I'm so happy. That is true. It is better than nothing. Damn, lady. Clear the ice blocks inside the ice camera. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've already got like a plan in place and I'm just working through it, so that's all I can do. Am I supposed to be clearing ice? There's no like ice blocks really that I see. What we got? Is that... That's a furniture pouch. What we got? Let's see. That's so ugly. I'm pretty sure I've already seen that. Okay, there's the ice blocks. I mean, the good thing is though, like, I mean, I am going to be working, like, well, this isn't the good thing, but I'm going to be working, like, 63 hours this coming week, and probably going forward. Actually, I'm going to be working more hours than that, because I work 2 jobs,